Coming to you live from the sunburnt country. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
All right, here we are, episode 79 of the Destiny Down Under podcast with a new intro and all of that. God, shut the fuck up. Anyway, moving on. Gentlemen, here we are again. I suppose if you're watching this video on YouTube or you're in the stream right now, you're wondering why there is no log and he's hidden behind the chain door that once led to Fogoth. Is because that's about how pretty he is at the moment. It's not real good. It's not real good, but just rehashing, there was a bet made last week. Sloth, you want to just run over it. You can relish in it because you laid it down.
The bet that started with Sloth with no one agreeing to terms but was still upheld.
I don't know how. I should refuse.
We did the Destiny 2 pod clash last weekend, and we made, and when I say we, I mean I made a wager that to Barely a Destiny show that if they lose, they were to do their next podcast dressed as pretty princesses. They didn't reply because they were scared, and that's okay.
Or smart,
so
depending on which way you want to look at it.
We turned it. It turned it to the interior, and we made the wager between us. Anyone who got the lowest score in the first match will have to wear the makeup and be a pretty princess. So, luckily, Mylan and I, with our PvP prowess,
there was no hope. Log had no hope.
Log.
Fuck off.
Mrs. Power Slave has done the world a solid. So if you're rocking on in a Twitch stream, clip it. Clip anything that you find.
Oh,
hilarious.
don't rush to clip it either, because I'm here for an hour and I'm going to look like this.
Send it to me on Twitter at RealTimeSloth, because I want to make all of the gifs. The
other thing too is that this is the open forum episode too, so you can jump in real time and tell me how I ruined your meal. That's great. All right, you want to do this, Diz? You ready? Yeah. Sloth, look at Sloth. He's so fucking happy with himself.
I've literally fucking never seen Sloth this happy before.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Go.
We're gonna have to get we've got the delay. We've got the delay.
Holy fuck!
Late. I should have refreshed. Oh my god.
Oh, kill it with fire. That is what I needed to read. That is it.
You are idiots.
Yes. Yeah, that was the plan, and
fuck idiots.
Absolutely fucking idiots.
Right, Julie done such a good job. He looks like a South German hooker. Thank you.
But hey, I did it. I could have run and I didn't. I'm giving myself brownie points just for fucking even doing this. So what the fuck ever. Anyway.
Well done. I think we should have a congratulations of some sort in chat just for you going through with that and holding true to the bet.
Yeah.
I think that's
hang on.
Leg?
Good.
My eyes.
My eyes. So yeah, this is. I mean, I look at it as setting the benchmark high or low, depending which way you want to go with it. Probably low or high, or one of the two, because I don't think that this is the end of this. Matter of fact, I had an hour to think about it while Rach did my makeup, and I'm already plotting some return fire of my own. So don't you fucking fair worry about it. But in the end, I'm glad it was me, because I think it would have been a bad look for Matt just starting out at Bungie and then appearing on a podcast a week later, dressed as a woman.
I think yeah, well, like, that's the thing, right? People can take stuff out of context so easily.
Yeah, I mean that is my fear. Like, all of you who are in the live stream and who know what the fuck I'm about, you're going, oh yeah, that's Log. He's having a laugh. But the second clips of this get out of that immediate thing, and they'll be like, who the fuck is this guy and what is he doing? But anyway,
dude, I can't even watch you on. You look. I can't even watch you on stream. Dude.
I am putting Skype over the top of the video player because you are fucking hideous, Coward.
Yeah, dude. I have not looked at myself since. Done. Yeah, I mean, that was the intent. She does good makeup.
Mrs. Power Slave, I mean, well done, but God damn, you are hideous.
There you go, guys. Well, look.
That cut me deep, Sloth. That fucking really hurts, man.
You said I had a face like a smacked ass before. Shut the fuck up.
That's true. This is the truth. It's fair enough. It's all right. Okay, right. Do we want to actually? Let's try and get on track. Do we want to dive into the news? Okay. Well, actually, let's first things first. Yeah, we'll talk about the pod clash, because we did that last Sunday. We haven't had an episode since then. So it was a blast. From I mean, I played in the first round, and then because I was the worst of the three of us, I ended up looking like this and was kicked from the next game because it was a 2v2 setup. But that gave me the opportunity to jump in and shoutcast with the dudes and dudettes that were hosting it. The guys from Grenades and Horseshoes, Grey Ghost. Huge shout out to them for running what was really like I think Matt said it best. It felt like a little kids soccer gala day, but for podcasts and on Destiny. Like the spirit of it was so fun, and everyone was having such a good time that it was just so fun to be part of. Like, I don't know, guys, what do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly like the feelings for me just beforehand was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to a sports carnival. Do you know? I feel like a primary school sports carnival. It feels there's excitement in the atmosphere. It's for a good cause, and like I'm gonna be able to do something that I like. In this case, it's gone from physical exercise to playing video games. So it's a perfect sports carnival. Sports carnival.
Yeah, you can do it in track pants. It's fucking beautiful.
And man, it was so much like. I did not expect it to be that sweaty. But everyone everyone brought their war paint, man, and their fucking war faces on, because it was like sweaty from the get go.
It was good.
Sweat.
It was good. I mean, I've had contact from the Barely a Destiny show dudes that we managed to beat in 3 incredibly close games. Like two, I think there was 1 kill in one of them and 2 in the other or something. It was so close. It was ridiculous.
Dude, it was 1 point in our first game, wasn't it? Barely a Destiny, wasn't it 1 point, or was it the second game? One of it was 1 point, and on the final seconds there were 2 supers thrown down. I'm pretty sure that was the first game with the Sentinel Titan, and was it you, Sloth, or was it Log that also activated their striker super?
Yeah, I did a strike at him, and that put us 1 ahead.
Yeah,
so I'm not completely fucking useless, but
on the buzzer, the buzzer kind of shit. It was so intense.
It was wonderful, but they've reached out and they're like, we want a fucking rematch, so it's good. A bit of fun rivalry there, and I don't know. I've been talking to those dudes about maybe trying to do a bit of a crossover episode down the line at some point. So they're really good guys. If you haven't checked their show out, please do. Barely a Destiny show, great, like basically like us, but American. Their just inability to stay on topic is amazing.
They're a really good bunch of dudes. And then we came up against Justifying Nonsense. Unicorn,
Flaming Unicorn, yeah, Flaming Unicorn.
What's he? No. What's his real name? Cayde or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, Flaming Unicorn absolutely fucking destroyed Matt and I in the next match using a blue sniper. But they absolutely destroyed us 3-0. So thank you to Justifying Nonsense as well. And I actually took the time to go and look up their cast as well, and they put on a really, really good cast. They're really, really good dudes. Make sure you go check out both Barely a Destiny Show and Justifying Nonsense. So thank you very much. Now, very quiet week in Destiny this week. There's not really much happened. No one's not really
Nothing's, nothing. We say that every week.
Dead Orbit won. Dead Orbit won, and no, Cayde-6 has taken a bullet.
Cayde 6 feet under. Too soon.
To a lot of people's dismay and a lot of theory and all that sort of thing, he has taken a bullet.
Dude,
so I'll give my thoughts in a second.
How did you guys find out? This is like, where were you when you found out? Did you see the release, or did someone tell you about it?
No, I got on Twitter. I was on Twitter and was just scrolling through my feed, and there was a Bungie video that at that point was 8 minutes old. And I clicked on it, and it was the video, and then I immediately jumped into our chat and was like, I fucking said this last week, I'm smart!
The first I heard of it was someone was like, so who's the next, I opened my Twitter feed, who's the next Hunter Vanguard? I'm like, what are you talking about? What? This is like secondhand information about how you hear about someone dying. And I'm like frantically searching Bungo, let's see what's happening here. Oh crap. Cayde-6.
Honestly, so I've got my own theory behind it, and I talked about it. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of it because we really covered some serious stuff in regards to what my thoughts on it. But I think he has figured that there is an issue with the prison, so he's gone there to rectify it himself. Whereas he has been, for lack of a better term, donkey punched as he comes in through the door, and the Scorn and Aldrin have, beaten him to a
good old fashioned ambush, my friend. Good old fashioned ambush.
Good old prison break.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see what the context of it is. There's been details revealed about the first mission that people have played through the week. I've read them, but we're not going to elaborate on them here because, it's spoilers. It's a part of the game, and that's long been a bugbear of ours that they'd release content and, you'd know what a third of the thing was before you got it. So we won't be doing that. That's the stance we're going to take. But I don't think it seems like that maybe, I don't know. I'm not even going to finish that sentence because I would have elaborated on something that I just literally said that I'm not going to. So anyway,
I regret reading one of the summaries of the first campaign mission or something. It's not worth the information that you got from it. It really isn't. And I think, I think you want to experience that. It's something that always happens with Destiny. It's one of their great positives and also negatives is they're so good at building a fucking hype train. But sometimes, it takes away from the experience itself, from the first playthrough. And, when there's maybe you want to experience it yourself. And I think that's what we're thinking as well.
I will say this, though.
So
it has done something wonderful for the community. I know it sucks. And I know that it's shitty to see a beloved character, fall by the wayside. But at the same time, there is so much passion around talking about the direction of it, talking about the motivations of the characters involved.
Aldrin.
It has reinvigorated the community to no extent. Even if you were just out there saying, I want to shove a shotgun up his ass, which I totally concur with, that's absolutely fine. But it is, I was surprised that there was so little in the way of you killed your favourite character, fuck, I'm not playing your shit game anymore. Well, maybe I just don't follow those people, but...
Bungie have done such an incredible and have used such an incredible tool to bring people to give people that emotional entanglement, that emotional engagement with the game now. So, as you said, he's a very beloved character. Was he the best fleshed out character? No. Was he the best character?
I think he's the most human character, which is ironic because he's a fucking robot.
I think he's the most. I think he was the most relatable character in Destiny.
He in my eyes, I think this is what he wanted to. I think this is what he wanted to. It all to end per se. Cayde seems like one of the characters that's thrown into a situation and he either goes balls to the wall and wins, or loses. And when he loses all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against that. I mean, I think Cayde has a lot of depth that we haven't quite seen in gameplay yet. Like specifically around sort of his becoming an exo, and also around his family and the diary journals and that kind of stuff. So I think seeing him die, I really hope this cutscenes or something to sort of bring out the other side of Cayde, so he's not just the Joker. Like I think it's cool to see him in such a serious position.
Not to draw parallels between.
You're very windy now. There's like a big background noise.
Not to draw parallels between real life people and all that sort of thing, but the funniest people are usually the saddest. Case in point, Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
That's exactly
we've
what I
touched
think
on that
about.
in the past. Yeah. I think I did my own little. I will be doing my own little ongoing tribute of I rolled a hunter for the first time in D2 ever on Thursday night, and started playing through. Well, dude, it's always next week. But playing through, I realised that Cayde repeatedly puts himself in shit situations. Like, go and watch the opening cinematic. He's walking along, shooting at a spaceship with a golden gun, and it takes a Cora to save him and blink him into the bubble. Like, or he'd be dead then. Like, he'd be a pancake. So I think that it's one of those things that is just... Mate, I think we're going to get our value out of him. Like, I don't think that we're going to just, it's going to be, guess what, Cayde's there, bang, he's dead. I think there is going to be, Cayde will be fleshed out in the process of this DLC as well. It won't be so much like, oh, he's bang, he's gone. It'll be, okay, well, maybe it's about exploring his legacy, or maybe we get quite a bit to do with him before that happens. I don't know, but... Time will tell. Just one final thing to say on the subject. I mean, we could talk about this for forever. But Matt, you've been at Bungie for a week and a half now, and Cayde's dead. So good start. You have anything to say in your defense?
I don't know why you reinforce these kinds of
because I know they're bullshit.
Fucking.
I mean, it was only data mined out of the fucking base game that Cayde was going to die like 9 months ago. But it's your fault, Matt.
I had to step away temporarily from my CEO duties at Activision
to do the podcast.
Yeah, so in all seriousness, with this open forum thing, if you were coming in expecting Matt to be some kind of forebearer of wisdom and information about the Destiny universe, just don't. Like, really.
I'm glad that it's not only us that are doing it, but DCP are blaming Holtzman.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll get into the.
I want to mention some stuff about Aldrin. Can we quickly chat about Aldrin? Because he's
absolutely.
like a really complex character, and I just started to look into a bit more of his background. By the way, I made did Prince Aldrin betray us video like a year ago. Called it. But Master of Crows, right? We haven't technically seen the crows in game yet. So that would be cool to see his like little spies. It's going to be cool to see the interaction between, okay, by the way, guys, I don't know what's going to happen. So if you're going to make a post out of this saying that I've confirmed stuff, it's not, okay? This is all speculation. That it's going to be cool to, hopefully we'll see Variks, Aldrin, Petra, and that dynamic, because anyone who's read the previous lore will know that there's been assassination attempts on Petra. Variks took over the crows for a certain period of time. Prince Aldrin then came back. Prince Aldrin's always been hostile to Guardians, blah blah blah. So like, there's lots of complex like interactions and relationships that could be explored, which I hope we see. And the other thing about, I'm just so keen to see how that interaction with the Fallen happens, being like having someone on the other side, and finally like having a villain. And this is what Mr. Barrett said, and there's no real spoilers on this, but having a villain that can talk, that's not a monster, right? And actually like speak back to us is something that I've always hoped for ages. I've always like mentioned that I really want to see like a Guardian boss in a raid. Like imagine fighting a Guardian. Like that would be so crazy to, or like, you know, with the Shadows of Yore and all the Dark Guardian stuff, it would have been so cool. So, you know, I don't know what extent we'll be squaring up to Aldrin will be, but it's so cool to have someone in that position rather than a monster.
I just hope that they don't do what they did in the vanilla story and have this incredible character, the incredible two characters in Gaul and Consul, and they don't have anything to do with the end game content. So I hope
they've already confirmed that. They've already confirmed that that's not the case.
Yeah,
they've made some really strong comments about that not being the case, because I think that was something they heard loud and clear.
Yeah.
Because that was such a shame.
Man.
That was such a shame that it was a cutscene and not, you know, part of it like a raid or something like that. It was just, you know, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think that's
I'm really excited to see him as a villain. I think he's going to be a cool villain.
I put a tweet out the other day saying that like often really great stories are told when there's more about the villain than they are about the hero, right? Like think the Joker in The Dark Knight or Negan in The Walking Dead and things like that. You know, even to some extent like Vader in Star Wars, like they're such a domineering, powerful presence whose motivations are the ones that you're interested in, that it can be a huge it'll be a huge stepping off point for Destiny if they can even get 10% of that lightning in a bottle, right? Like it'll be fucking incredible.
But think about Taken King, right? That if you look at the feedback from that, like it was Oryx. It was the villain of Oryx, and I think that's what made that expansion so good. And if this is shaping, and I think this is shaping up to be the same. I think Forsaken has got the magic ingredients, has got the elements that made Taken King such an enjoyable experience for people. And I think one of the first steps to that is a really true villain. And you know, I think we're going to get that with Aldrin.
Exciting times. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a Guardian. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to jump into the news. We'll blast through that. But if you are wanting to jump in on the open forum part of this podcast, which is, you know, you jump into Discord, have your say about, you know, what you're excited about for the Forsaken DLC or, you know, the future of Destiny. You know, share your thoughts with us, talk to us in real time and get your little voice on the stream and all that sort of stuff. It'll be facilitated by our man Chucky Wookie, who will get in a bit and sort of give you the lowdown on how it's going to run. But without further ado, let's do some newsy news, right? Wonderful.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to get into the news with Dead Orbit, what a shock!
I don't think bookies were even taking money.
So well done to Dead Orbit. Well done to people who backed Dead Orbit. I hope you got your Graviton Lance. I hope your Graviton Lance bites you in the ass. Gambit has we've seen the reactions from Gambit from E3. A lot of people are really enjoying Gambit. Yeah. I'm very happy to see that. I think Destiny has been needing a PvE VP type of content for a long time, and it looks good. It looks good, and a lot of people are reporting that it's a lot of fun too. So I'm okay with that. I just remembered I haven't spoken to you guys about the Warlock Super, and I can speak about it now. And I just had that revelation. I was like, "Whoa, I forgot." I'm playing it. Keep your Naruto and your Goku Super there for the coming.
He knows what the other one is, and he can talk about it now because the embargo is up.
Oh!
Come. And look, there's not much information because I don't think many people played it at the summit, and I don't know if they had it available at E3 either. Okay, so strap in, boys. It's like a proper healing class. So your super is you put the sword into the ground, and it's a massive rift that. Now, I don't know if this is going to change, but it did both. It healed and gave a buff. So it did a damage buff and a healing buff. And get this right, your grenade is like the Devourer perk. You hold it down and you throw a grenade that then like heals people with like a little tether. So like if you're needing health and you're at a distance, I can like throw a healing grenade at you and it will like tether to you and you'll get health back.
That sounds like a mixture between a Zenyatta and Anna from Overwatch. That's actually kind of cool. I like that they can now that there are roles in that respect. So tell us about do you know about the fabled third subclass change to Titan?
Well, the Void one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that. So we had the Striker Titan, the Solar Warlock, and shit, I don't know what the Hunters played at the summit. I think it wasn't the Knives and it wasn't the Void, so it must have been I don't know.
It might have been the Donatello Hunter. As Locke said last week, because
I do have more information on the Sentinel. Have you seen that kind of stuff with the flying of not Sentinel, sorry, the Striker Titan?
It's like an auto-aiming dive bomb, isn't it?
You can like control it like Superman, like fly around the map and shit.
What?
Yeah, apparently it's hard to control, but from the people that were playing it, like if once you learn how to do it, you can do like a lap.
Get the fuck out.
Look, that's from Rick Ackes. That's from Rick Ackes who said that.
Rick Ackes.
Rick Ackes.
I love Rick. We're gonna have to get him back on. We'll grill him about it. But oh, dude. I mean, I just the thing that's really coming across strong is that they're all really fucking incredible, right? Like everyone's, like. As they said in the thing, I'm not even reading chat at this point. I've given up on reading chat. It's it's frightening. But break the game with supers. Like if they can do this and it's in any shape, way, and form balanced, like let's go. It's going to be incredible.
Dude, can you imagine this Warlock super for fucking EP with 9 people standing? The rift's fucking huge, man. Like you can fit 9 people in it easy. And I wish I took notes because we couldn't capture Gambit. I actually thought, I'll remember this, but I'm pretty sure I asked one of the devs if the buffs stack, like if you can put like a fucking super down and then you can put like an empowering rift down and essentially have like triple damage with like health and that on it, and then also throw like a grenade heal down and have people like just constantly getting like health and like damage buffs.
Dude, I think that's so close to something that like I initially played as a defender because I wanted to play that like kind of tank role, right? Like it is really taking that, it's a baby step in the direction of MMO-ness, right? Like as a support class.
Yeah.
But it feels right. It sounds right? Like I'm digging it. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I was very surprised. Like, so my impression, I walked out and was like, fuck, Destiny's got a healing class. Like that's how I walked out of that. Like, and no one else played Warlock. I was like, dude, what about the Warlock healing class?
Warlock,
nobody played the Warlock. I'm like, okay.
Nobody plays Warlock, Matthew. No.
God, you know what? The one thing that I hope is that you aren't the only person who knows this, because that will make this section of this video very fucking important to a lot of people, and they're going to come in with no context and me looking like this. Yeah, this is just a normal week on the podcast, people. Just don't worry about it at all.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Giggs played it too, and I'm hoping like he took more notes than me. I was trying to find it. He made a video, but I couldn't find it again. So
So basically, the general consensus is that everyone's excited for the new supers and all that sort of thing. But the thing that a lot of people are really a lot more, well, at least for me, I'm a lot more excited about is the changes to the weapon slots. So more choice and deeper customization. The top 2 slots, the quick slots per se, have more freedom than ever, allowing you to carry unique sets of primary and special weapons when paired with the appropriate exotic. Crazy loadouts like the 3-shotty build are possible. So, I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited to see. I don't like the fact that they can do a 3-shotgun build. I don't like the fact that they can do a 3-heavy build. I think outside of that, it's.
I don't hate it. I want to see it in practice before I make a pass judgment because
I
it's
want to
be
see.
If you are dying of ammo starvation the whole time, then fine. If you're never going to be able to practically use it, unless it's in a bloody PvE match where there's heaps of enemies dropping ammo, then be that as it may.
I think it's pretty safe to say, like, they've said now, ammo's going to be a thing. They actually haven't said what, like, exactly what they'd be doing to the ammo to make it balanced. I can almost guarantee that that's what they're doing fucking right now. They're experimenting with all the different ways that you can balance ammo and trying to work out. And if they already had that way, I think we probably would have known. They would have told us. But I imagine that they're probably having that conversation. They're testing that conversation. And essentially, like, I don't see that you're going to be having 3 shotguns for the whole round. There might be one point where you can run 3 shotguns or something.
Yeah.
Or PvE, depending on what you're killing, maybe that. But even then, I don't think, even in PvE, I think the ammo will be balanced in a certain way that, if you have 3 shotguns, you will just eventually have no ammo, and you will have to make a change. Like, I imagine that's what eventually is going to happen.
I hope that's the case because PvE, I think PvE is going to be okay. I think PvE is going to be fine. I don't see any issues with running like the OG auto. Like your auto, your secondary, and your heavy. So having ladders, like all that sort of thing. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay is with PvP and then Gambit, with people running triple shotguns and all that sort of thing. Because I have seen people run a shotgun for entirety of a Iron Banner match, never lose heavy, and they are just slaying. Like, there are some fucking really, really good people. Not gods, but some really, really good people out there. But
I can say with Gambit, we had the opportunity to run shotguns, and that's what I was trying to do. But I think this comes down to, like, how the map's designed too, and I think there probably could be issues with, like, original D2 maps. But I think, like, moving forwards, like with Gambit, it just wasn't an issue. Like, the map was quite big. So, if you invade, I actually found the shotgun wasn't practical. Like, I got pinged before I could get anywhere close to anyone. So I think you'll find that there'll be a level of balance in maps as well, with that in mind, of people being able to run whatever they want. And there's definitely better setups to run if you're invading. Like, Sniper was way more, like, difficult to deal with invaders, because you wouldn't always know where they were, and they'll, like, sit in the corner of the map and just, like, pick people off while they're invading.
Oh, that's rude, man.
Because they were so far away, you couldn't see them on your radar, and you're, like, trying to get motes and stuff, and you're getting pinged by snipers and shit. Like, that was much more of an issue. Like, not an issue, but that's what I was getting killed by. I wasn't getting killed by shotties, so yeah.
You know what? As long as it's somewhat balanced, and I mean that in as loose a term as possible, as long as it's somewhat balanced, as long as the testing is done now instead of post-release, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Do you reckon we'll see it in Crucible Labs? Do you reckon we'll see it in Crucible Labs to give feedback on it?
I reckon it's too big of a change. I don't reckon that they're going to be. It's like a sandbox-wide, whole massive scale thing. Would I love to see it? Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna. I really like. I'm with you, Slothy. I have reservations about it, and I think it could enable the worst kind of play in Destiny, but at the same time, I have faith that they know that Bungie know that as well, and that they'll be working to, make it so that you can't basically just camp and be a dead shit. Like I've got faith. That's my take.
But I mean, like I agree. It's like Sloth. Like it's not really an issue for PvE, especially when you look at the exotics. Like right now, you have linefaction boots. You don't need 3 shotguns. All you need is 1.
Yeah, the meanest one you can, right?
Yeah. You only need 1 mean shotgun, if anything. So like, you don't even need to run. It's just going to be a real balance for the
but
PvP.
you know what? Like, like I said, balance.
Yeah.
That is what I want. As someone who is moving a little bit more into PvP, I'm still shithouse at it, but I actually really enjoy where the PvP's at where it's at the moment. I don't play comp. I don't play trials. I just play PvP and have fun with it, and I think it's in a good spot at the moment.
We should try some comp, Sloth.
Oh fuck! Look at these pair getting ahead of themselves.
We should get our sweats on just once a week. Once a week, man. Log, you're not invited, mate.
You'll be Ray should be doing your makeup every week if that's the case, Log. So yeah, like the loadout is basically that they're adding a choice system. That you want to, if you want to set a loadout, you set a loadout and then go from there. It just frustrates me. It just frustrates me that it could be. It's like, as Sassy said in a very spam length thingo in the chat, it is definitely fragile. It is definitely fragile.
Time will tell.
Yeah,
time will tell.
I think it's a big risk too, but I think it's a risk that they want to take because if they pull it off,
yeah, it's a risk that they need to attempt. It's a risk that they need to attempt, because although the initial changes to D2 at the very launch of D2 didn't work out, they attempted change. And that's something that I've learnt slowly over the past nearly 12 months, is that they have attempted change, and not a lot of their decisions a lot of people didn't like. I didn't like a lot of the decisions, but they attempted change, and that is a lot more than a lot of game developers, publishers, and all that sort of thing actually do.
True.
Are you brushing? Are you brushing?
Oh, I know. I just caught myself like moving my hair, and I just, I might stay like this forever. This could be the new me.
I saw that.
All right, well, let's get into the real meat and fucking veg of this episode. I just had a bit of a stroke there. That's fine. It's been a big day. We are going to play some music, and then we're going to get Chook in here, and we're going to explain what the open forum's all about, and get stuck into it. All right, let's do it. You know what? We might as well open up chat as well. So, if you don't say anything particularly too outlandish, because you'll be held to account for forever by the internet. Like that's a problem. Welcome to the chat, Chook. He is our master of ceremonies, for want of a better term, in the Discord at the moment. Talking to, basically getting everyone in order to jump into here and talk to us. So, Chook, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, good, mate. Oh, well, I was good until I looked at my Twitch screen. You're scaring me, brother. I was all prepared to tell you how hot you were, but the words are really struggling to come out.
No, it's fine, mate. It's I'm gonna have to live with this for a long time now. I've got a feeling.
Dude, I've been in the Navy. And I have very low standards, but they're not that low.
I reckon I'd get more of a chance of a run out of you with no makeup on.
I reckon
you get a run out of Chook's bloody Navy. You get a run out of Chook if you bloody just cast an eyelash at him.
If you put that manly flanny back on, I'm all yours, baby.
Righto, let's talk about fucking Destiny, for God's sake.
All right, yeah.
All right, well, you can be our first guest, Chook. You can tell us what out of everything you are most excited about with respect to the Forsaken DLC. What's on your mind, mate?
I think you guys covered it pretty well in the intro, but yeah, I'm just going to mute the stream for a sec. The trailer, how they leaked it out, I was actually, leaked it out, they put it out. I was actually streaming at the time, and I had Black Sword come in and said, it literally was all caps, he's a mod for me so he can get away with this. Oh my god, have you seen this trailer? Oh my god, and the hype went crazy. I immediately stopped my stream, paused there, come back, and went and watched it. And after I stopped sobbing an hour later, I restarted my stream, and I think you saw my 8,000 tweets after. I'm just hyped for that classic sort of cowboy style revenge movie. I love those sort of things. You know, the flawed character. I mean, that Cayde is, and I wanted them to go. I wanted more backstory. I wanted to fix him up. But another good way to do it was to do what they did. And we talked about this during the week. Was what a way to suck someone in. It's like kill someone cares about. If they shot Zavala, I would have been like, oh thank fuck.
Well, I mean, that's exactly right. Like this when the speaker died, right? Like everyone was like, it just didn't have the impact.
No, it didn't. And Kat, my wife came home. I came home and showed the video. I was like, "This is what they've done," and she knows Destiny sort of. She sees all my Funko Pop stuff all over my streaming desk. And I started showing the video, and I started tearing up. And she looked at me and went, "Oh my god!" I went, "I know this has only happened once before in Gears of War, but this never happens. But this is brilliant." Like I got really, I was kind of. I don't know, you're emotional, but it's kind of. I was a little bit of me. I think got emotional because I was excited that it's like Destiny's back. It's got me sucked back in. I said on my stream when I was streaming WoW about a month ago, I can't see myself going back to shooters. I like Destiny because it had that lore. It had that, the MMO style raids. It had something different that other shooters just don't have. Because just going out and shooting heads does nothing for me. But Destiny was different, and it got me to care about the character again. I was, as soon as I saw that, I was like, and Log and I talked about this on Twitter a heap. It was just like, I now want to go and shoot that blue bastard in the face. And I don't care if he's got a good story or he's got a good reason for it or whatever. I'm still going to shoot him in the face. He's gone. He shot my boy, and someone's going to pay. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Listen, at the end of the day, there are some. I think there's going to be some. So I'm holding on hope that there's going to be some reason, some very, very good reason for Aldrin to do that. Not good reason for us, but good reason for Aldrin to do that.
Yeah. My thing, we talked about this in my chat, is that it's got to be consequential. It can't be. There's a real fear we had as much. I'm a Cayde fanboy. I love Nathan. He's like one of the best voice actors in gaming I've ever heard.
He's one of the best actors, right? Regardless.
Cool stuff. Yeah. But there's a thing like we debated this. It's like, do they bring in? The Cayde-6 thing started, and we're like, that becomes like a cheesy Superman dies. But you know what? Give it a month, and we'll bring Superman Returns, and he comes back from the dead and blah blah. And you're like, kind of knew this was going to happen. But if it's consequential and he's gone, there's just more impact to it. There's more stinging impact, and like those really good sort of Western movies that aren't cheesy, is a flawed guy, probably the Guardian, who's mopped up half of the galaxy, shooting races dead left, right, and center with a kill count that would make Jeffrey Dahmer impress. Has got to go and avenge another flawed character, and then I don't know. There's a bit of grit. There's a bit of that Joe Abercrombie, the Bloody Nine, like the Joe Abercrombie fantasy novels with that sort of grim, dark feel to it, and there's a bit of feeling and passion to it now, rather than it's just. I mean, Gaul. We lost a little bit with the Gaul story because I thought, okay, they started building this really cool character, and then he's like 20 minutes later, he's dead. You've popped him.
That's the thing that I'm really frightened of is that, and I know that you covered this, Logan, Matt. I know that you covered this, but like. Gaul was actually a very when I first watched the cutscenes with Gaul and Consul, I actually felt like these guys, they are doing it for their own reasons. They are assholes, but I actually felt I kind of somewhat related to them. Was that they weren't like fully relatable as in like they're not human, but the fact that Console Console died on the bridge of the command ship, and then Gaul unceremoniously died at on the top of the command ship on the footsteps of the Traveler. Like it was just, it just didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with me. And then Callus came out of nowhere.
I think the thing that they really kind of that they missed in the Gaul storyline is that he so quickly spirals from a dude who seems to be this like really menacing, thoroughly planning, like straight up, like impressive, the biggest threat we've ever faced kind of dude, and quickly spirals from that into basically megalomania of like, I need all this power, and it kind of like the first 2-3 missions of like having only played them 2 days ago, the tone of them is incredible. Like if the rest of the game managed to capture that lightning, right? I'm on about capturing lightning today, but I think it would have been something purely incredible. But
I think if they've like that's that was pretty much the feedback from Curse of Osiris is that it didn't have the right tone. It wasn't dark. It wasn't it wasn't treated seriously. There was nothing of consequence. And I think seeing Cayde's death. Yeah, I don't think that would cheapen that by having Cayde-7 or bringing him back. I don't think that would cheapen everything they've done to show that they're improving the story by bringing him back or something.
Yeah, I agree.
If they brought him back, I would be very upset. I would be very upset if they brought Cayde back. Not because he's not a good character, not because I don't like Nathan Fillion. Nathan Fillion is incredible. He's an incredible actor and all that sort of thing. It's just that it cheapens the story. It really cheapens the story. Yeah. And I don't want that.
Yeah, I think, and again, like I keep saying, bring back, like, and I was joking about this, it's like, if we end up with a mission where we just have to go to, Officeworks and get a giant USB stick and then go stick it in the back of his head, download him and stick him in a new body.
That would ruin it. I don't think they'll do that.
But if they can do it, if they could pull it off in a way, I mean, like,
Slothy fan again, man.
Don't want to be presumptive, but good writers can pull off any sort of story. So if they found a way to bring him back that wasn't, and I keep using this word cheap. I don't want to use it. It's not the right word, but if they could find a way to bring him back that was still kept that emotion going, I'll be down for it. But my gut feel is he's gone. It's inspired some sort of rage. It was literally, I had a rage reaction. I was like, I was so I was fucking angry. Like I was tearing up. I was like, what? How could they? But it was a good reaction, if you know what I mean. It's better to feel something than nothing. It's like, that's
the thing.
Be dead inside.
That's the thing, is that it has invoked such a raw reaction from the it invoked such a raw reaction to Destiny, to the story and to the release of Forsaken. I am excited to see what happens.
My only, and I know they're drawing a line under and they're moving forward, and I think this is fantastic. So, I mean, I was gone, not out of Bungie hate or anything, but just sort of like, a bit flat, and there's no one really playing on PC, so I'm going to go play other games. This has launched me back into Destiny, doing weird, grindy things, like even playing PvP, which I never did. I just want to hang out and play Destiny now. But the one thing about the story I worried about was, like, and this is all Matt's fault because he sucked me in with his really good lore series on Cayde, is that I wanted some sort of resolution to that story, like that tragic backstory that we all know is in there in the Grimoire, and then Matt's pulled it out in his videos. I wanted some sort of resolution to that, and it seems like we're not going to get that. It's like, but it's.
I think you will. I think you will. I just think that it won't be in the way you're expecting it. But
yeah, cool. And that's a I guess a worry, but not I'm not going to be tweeting Bungie, you bastards. I'm not going to get. It's like, okay, let's wait and see what we get. But there's that's that sort of expectation. Like, oh shit, I think we're going to miss out on this to get something else. But if we get it, I'll be so stoked. That'd be a brilliant way to go. It's almost that hero going out in a blaze of glory type cowboy story. Fucking love that stuff. Awesome. And Gambit, how good's that?
Chook, we're putting you back in the wild. We're putting you back in the wild. Go on.
All right. There's people there. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Good. Okay. All right. Dude, I love it.
So there's a question here from Naren. And he says, I've been watching some gameplay of Gambit recently. When you invade the enemy team's side, the Drifter yells out, "Embrace the Darkness, Guardian." Do you guys think that there's any speculation to that? Dark Guardian's a bit of a speculation.
I think it's interesting that they're putting the word darkness back into it. I think, it was obviously extremely absent from Destiny 2, and just the fact that it's back in the voice lines, I think, is significant. I don't think there's anything to probably be interpreted from that yet. But at some point, someone fucking wrote that. Someone wrote that, and then someone approved that a voice actor says that, and especially in a game mode like Gambit, like they're happy to put that out there into the Destiny community. So I think that has significance. But I mean, I wouldn't say that we're going to see darkness storylines. I think the fact that Forsaken is a dark tone, and embrace the darkness as metaphorically, seeing, Alden not be on the side of the light, I guess, with a traveler, it has significance, but maybe not foreshadowing anything at this stage.
Yeah. Thank you for the question, Aaron. All right, we're going to pull in Hunter. Let's get him in here. Hunter, hello.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Log.
How are you?
Good. Log, you look beautiful today.
Thank you, man. Thank you. You can come back. You're a champion. You should really stop enabling me. This could end up anyway.
What's on your mind, Hunter? What's on your mind, man?
Okay, Miley, congrats on working at Bungie. And
Thank you.
on my mind is like, I wonder like if we might still have more darker tones, like if Eris might betray us in future DLCs or kind of Saladin, that new characters can be introduced.
That's a good question. It's like we wanted a darker storyline from like all of the data that Matt pulled before going to the summit. We wanted a darker storyline. We got dark. Dark. Like you can't say that that's not what we've gotten.
I'll be really interesting. I'll be really interested. This is what I want to see is see how Forsaken goes. We obviously know they're taking that kind of line now or direction for that DLC. Now we also know that Bungie is doing a lot more collaborations with different studios, right? This is going to be the second studio to come in and produce something, and they've spoken openly about that. This is, we have opportunity to be more collaborative now, and we had Vicarious Visions help out with Warmind, and we got a lot of different things in that, and now we've got Hymen Studios doing this one, and it's going to have a different feel. I personally would love for, considering like Destiny's always, it's T for teen or what its age rating. We don't have blood, and it's very sort of family friendly gameplay wise. I would love to keep seeing darker tones come through, and because the lore can be very serious, and sort of start to go away from.
Can
really
be is
comical.
A bit of an understatement, Matt, because I remember watching your lore videos on, Eris's fire team, and they were legitimately stripping the light, and one of the wizards was stripping the light from one of the guardians, and they were screaming bloody murder. Like that is, if that's not dark, I don't know what is, but that has kind of been missing from the actual story. That's in the Grimoire for sure, but it's actually been missing from the story. So to see darkness, as in to see a more serious tone to the storyline, I'm very excited very excited for the future. Like they've done, I believe that they've done such a good job in as I've said this before, they've done such a good job in prompting such a guttural response, such a emotional response from the community. So I'm okay with that.
Go on, Hunter.
Yeah, even the darkest part of the Destiny lore was like Saladin's time, like how there was warlords taking over, trying to destroying communities and trying to force people to, trying to pay them back and slaves, until Saladin and his team had to take over and try to stop them. It's like a God versus Guardian.
So it's cool to see some of that. I guess what's been written in the lore, I guess translate a bit more into gameplay, because if you think about the lore, as you and Sloth just said, there's been tons of dark stories of warlords, torture. There's some really adult concepts in the writings, but a lot of it doesn't always translate into gameplay. And Cayde-6's death is probably the sort of real start of seeing some of those dark tones in the game itself. And of course, I would love to continue to see that going forwards, because I think people take it seriously when it's like that. I think, and then you just, then you do need a Cayde-6 character that peppers a little bit of comedic value, but like when it sort of goes down that sort of pathway of like the Eris Morns and the Oryxes of the villain world, like that's cool.
All right. Well, Hunter, thank you very much for joining, my friend. That's very kind of you to join in again on another open forum. Thank you for your questions, my friend.
And always been, sincerely, thanks for always being the first dude to turn up everywhere ever. I have a strong held belief that you may be the Flash, because I don't understand how you do it so quick. but thank you, man. We notice it, and every week we fire out the stream, and we kind of all three of us are like, holy shit, that was fast. So thank you, man. We appreciate your support. Stay pretty. I'll do my best, man. I'm having a shower as soon as this is over. I assure you with that.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thanks, Hunter.
So a question from Fistbump Guy. Here is a question. What is Gambit? What is the story, the lore of Gambit? Is it like Trials of Osiris finding Guardians that can fight both enemies and Guardians at the same time? Or is it a sport for someone or something to watch?
I don't know. I mean, do we know yet?
No, I don't think we know anything about... What's his name? I think we've got his name.
The Drifter.
The guy who's running Gambit.
The Drifter.
The Drifter.
It's called the Drifter. So
Yeah.
it's set within the reef from memory. Like, even though the zones can be a bit like, I guess, how you would say Trials of Osiris is set Mercury vexed. I guess the setting is reef based. But I don't know anything about that yet. I imagine they're probably going to be, when they release Gambit and they release the collector's, what's it called? The Moments of Triumph style.
Yeah.
The Codex.
Yeah, the Codex. That there'll be something that you probably unlock for playing X amount of games of Gambit or winning games, and there'll probably be some lore in
it's
there
got its
telling the story.
it's got its own whole weapon set, armor set, all that sort of shit. So, I mean, if we do see that accompanied with any kind of lore tab, right, there's going to be a hell of a lot that they can expound upon what it is and why it's there and who the Drifter is and all of that. So, there's definitely another little facet going to be added to our game that we can continue to explore, which is, I think, great. Yeah. I know nothing about it though, so that's where we're at. Ground zero.
All right.
Okay,
so next person in to speak to us here on the open forum is Zodran. Zodran, how are you, my friend? What's on your mind?
Hey, my question is kind of, with all the new Fallen coming into this, there's a lot of new types, and like, how do they kind of change in a sense? Because you see, like, with the what are they called?
The Scorn?
Scorn?
Yeah, the Scorn, yeah. How they're really different from a lot of the new Fallen, from like how the Fallen have been in the past. Like, some of them don't even have like oxygen masks or anything. Some of them have gone more primitive. Like,
There's been a little bit revealed through the week in an interview with our Lord and Savior Chris Barrett that it kind of verges on spoiler territory, but at the same time, it's not plot stuff. It's aside from that the Scorn are actually resurrected Fallen. That they're not Fallen anymore. They're their own thing. Obviously, that in terms of gameplay mechanics, we'll see a lot of they're basically new units. They're going to operate in their own way. I'm looking forward to that. But the whys and wherefores of how and why they're resurrected Fallen, that has got me peaked. Matt, have you what do you make of that?
This is one of those occasions where you educated me, Log. It's rare, but it happens.
There you go. You were educated by a man with flowing curls and makeup.
Look, I was surprised to read the response about the Fallen and being resurrected, because obviously my first thought was these are going to be the Kell of Kings, the House of Kings. That this is going to be.
Did you say the Kell of Kinks?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, I'll take that. I'll take that for the time being. Yeah.
Whoa, now. Hey, now.
Slow up.
That this is going to be the House of Kings, right? But obviously, they as Zordran says, they look completely different. Like these don't even look like Fallen.
I actually thought they were a Hive Fallen hybrid when I first saw it.
Well, here comes the speculation. That log. Do you want to share your speculation log on what?
Well, I mean, it's not really speculation,
on?
but it does seem very funny that we just encountered a character that's basically a Hive necromancer that raises things from the dead. Literally, in the same postcode as where we found Uldren's ship crashed, right? And both of them were alive, and I think we're pretty sure that we can say that we haven't seen the last of Nokris. So what is resurrecting this fallen army that Uldren seems to be leading?
So good, man.
Like,
so
it is
good. What a great speculation, man. And here's where it gets better, right? And look, once again, I don't know any of this. This is where it gets even better, right? And this is what Anon Pig I saw mention as one of the really good things. So how were the Awoken born? We know nothing about them. They're not Guardians. Like Reef-born Awoken are not Guardians. We have Awoken that came to Earth that died and were resurrected as Guardians, but the Awoken, which were people aboard the ships that were escaping Earth during the collapse, we don't know how they became Awoken. They died on, according to Marasov, like the space between light and dark, sort of the edge of darkness, beginning, whatever. Like something happened and they became the Awoken, and they have extremely powerful abilities. Like Marasov, best example of doing that with the Tech Witches, Techians, and is this like an Awoken ability? Did Uldren resurrect Fallen? Is this some sort of Awoken ability that's happened to bring them back? Is this related to their birth in some way? And then if you think about that and go to read some of the original cards, like Anon Pig just writes something like the Awoken are zombies, and then he quotes a card that says Petrovenge was raised by the Tech Witches, and everyone thought that was raised from a child, not like raised from the dead. Do you know?
Yeah, that's ambiguous as fuck, but
you know what though?
Isn't everything in this game zombies though?
What isn't extremely ambiguous lore-wise in regards to Destiny?
Oh,
that's true.
Like ambiguity is well, it's just part and parcel of the game, and it gives people a lot of things to theory craft and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's the appeal of Destiny lore. You want to have some theory craft in there. We've taken over too much. Zondran, do you have some other things you want to add? Did you get that? Great question. It obviously got us all fired up about the Fallen. Did you have another part to that question, or was that?
Not really. I mean, I kind of wanted to add something that kind of popped in my head while you're.
Go for it, man. Go. Yeah.
Kind of is how they're handling the void, kind of how the Woken has been changed by the void, and how the is so.
Just a sec, dude. You've just turned into Stephen Hawking for a second there.
You just roboting for a sec, though.
Oh, no.
Go again.
Just repeat what you were saying, bud.
Okay. So kind of how I was thinking about how the whole Fallen and Awoken got kind of revived and brought back from the dead is more akin to like the whole void, and how it's so unknown, and it has a lot of different properties and all these different crazy crap that you hear about it. Like I think it was one of your videos, Mylon, that was talking about how it's connected to how like oh my god, I can't think.
Welcome to my life, man.
Yeah. Like the void has heaps of connections. So like Callas, the Nine, the space between spaces, a lot of things.
And I was just kind of thinking that maybe that was kind of how they got revived. Like the Awoken were killed when they were traveling out. They got deep into space. They're outside the light's reach, and maybe they got killed, and Void kind of took them over. Maybe that's why they're like purple, because Void are mainly related to the
Yeah.
purple.
You know what? That's a very valid point because
Checks
I mean,
out.
you look at the side of their heads and their cheeks and all that sort of thing on player characters, and even back in
and they're,
D1
like,
when you
glowing.
can actually see it, but they're glowing that
Yeah.
purpley color. So maybe it's like the light is the light, and the darkness takes out everything. It touches everything. The darkness. I know that's kind of semi-retconned, but the
Honey
void,
boy.
as you said, Matt, like the void fills the spaces between space.
Mhm.
So the void was just like, hey, there's a whole bunch of bodies here. Let's go. And
Yep.
then we've got this
Army.
this army of self-thinking, like self-governing race.
Mm.
But how does that like just thinking on that, how does the Guardians on Earth, how were they awoken and then returned to
some of it's like, I think, revealed in Zavala's sort of story. I think the best thing about Awoken coming to Earth is like Zavala's story of waking up on Earth as resurrected in a crashed ship. So like some of them did travel to Earth, and Reefborn Awoken are very elitist in regards to, you know, when you first meet the Awoken, that's their whole deal, is that the Reef were hidden for a very long period of time, and we didn't even really know about them. And they revealed themselves, or the Queen revealed the Reef essentially during Twilight Gap, which led to so much, which led to the Reef Wars, right? So, basically, the Reef saw the House of Wolves preparing for an invasion, and it had two choices: to either step in and save the last city, or to remain hidden, and they chose to step in at that point. And that's when they sort of became more known to us. But we must have known the purple people on the Earth, though, because we've seen Zavala.
It seems pretty obvious.
Simply obvious, so I've actually
Why
never
are you
thought about
purple?
that before. I've never thought about it before. So we must have known about them, but their location must have been relatively, you know, mysterious and hidden amongst the Reef, and then they revealed themselves. And by the way, Prince Aldrin did some nasty shit during the Reef Wars in regards to like determining fallen communications and like sending crows and stuff like that. So there's some cool backstory there as well.
Oh, thank fuck. I thought you were going to say he dressed in drag. Like, what a cockhead.
Zodrin, thank you very much for your questions, man. That's very, very cool of you. Thank you for dropping in.
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank
Cheers.
you, man. All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Well, I mean, yeah, good questions there. I like.
I feel bad for taking it. We need to like not talk over our guests, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, this is hard because we're so used to trying to talk over each other that
Yeah,
someone new gets in the equation. It's like when we have, like even when Dan, we need someone like Dan Finity to come on, and he's a really strong personality, and we still fucking talk over him. So anyway, we're learning. It's a learning process, but we'll do better.
We'll get Exiled Dark Elf. And guys, if you do have any questions, if you're watching live on Twitch right now, if you do have any questions for us, either in any of us in the chat, or you can jump into the Discord, !Discord in the chat, and you can jump in, have a chat to Chucky before you go anywhere, and then we'll drag you up, and we'll pull you up into the live channel, and then we'll, if you've got any questions or statements that you would like to get across for Forsaken. Keeping in mind that Matt is under NDA on anything that he does in regards to Bungie, so just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, but we'll get Exiled in. Exiled, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. What's on your mind, brother?
All right, so we've seen a picture of Petra. Has anybody heard anything about the Queen? And
Not since the royal wedding.
I know that we're all pissed off at Aldrin, and I'm going to take Ace of Spades back and shoot him in the face with it, I promise. As my Titan, I don't even care. But I just wanted to know if we'd heard anything about the Queen, maybe, or Petra. All we've seen so far is a picture, so...
Sure. Well, I find this this question really interesting because I realize a lot of people joined Destiny before the D1 days, and a lot of people didn't tune into the... Do you remember the developer ride-alongs? Do you remember when that was a thing in Destiny 1? When they had
I had forgotten about that, yeah.
And what they did was they got people from different teams to pretty much just educate the audience on their jobs and what they were working on and things they were exciting for. And the one thing that I always draw people's attention to was pretty much on stream, live stream, with the narrative team. I think it was Rise of Iron. I don't know, whatever release it was. They're like, oh yeah, the Queen's coming back. Like straight up.
I remember that.
This was like after she had died in Taken King. So look, I always refer back to that, and in the lore there is just a ton of evidence that she will return. The main one, here's a bit of crisp lore for you, right? In the Grimoire cards, the Queen of the Reef has the word starlight is not used very often, and the Queen refers to herself as having this starlight, as in not the light from the Traveler, but something maybe potentially a little bit different. But she talks about starlight and she talks about darkness. And from memory, it only occurs in like 2 or 3 cards. The first card is when the Queen refers to it as herself, and the second card is when Prince Aldrin detects starlight, and he basically crashes on Mars, and he pushes his sensors out somehow to search for his sister in the galaxy, universe, whatever, and detects starlight, indicating that he detected her presence. Don't know how that happened.
You made a video on that, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, there probably was somewhere a video about.
I think you did it because I remember you talking about it before now. So yeah, I think so. But
I think it'd be pretty safe from what's been said in the developer ride-alongs and from, well, I don't know. With the lore, I think we're still in a funny place, but I think we'll get to a point. I think we'll get to a point in Destiny where it's like, if it's said in the Grimoire cards, I think, it can come true. I think we'll eventually get to that point of consistency. We're obviously not sort of quite there yet, but I think we'll get to a point where it's like, if you read it, like it's there and it's intentionally been checked, the gameplay will stay true to it. So I think there's enough to sort of suggest that the Queen will come back.
Yeah, I think they're doing better at going back and trying all of the lore from V1 and 2. I mean, it's a work in progress, obviously, but I do think that they're getting better. I think there was enough of an outrage from everybody that was like, listen, some of this doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't work. Attempt to fix it, and I think they are now.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I just sort of thought about there in regards to lore is like, if you remember back to the year 1, like, no one fucking read the cards. Like, imagine being a writer of Bungie in year 1. You'd be like, no one's gonna fucking read. I write whatever I want. Like, and now it's like,
you know what, Matt? I didn't read the cards, and then I met up with you bullhead. Now I read all of the freaking cards. So don't even.
Yeah, but that's how the community's changed. That's how the lore has changed. That's how the community responds to the lore has changed. I don't think they predicted that people would, obviously there was a hope that people would take it that seriously. Obviously there was a hope that people would take it to the Dark Souls level of like puzzle pieces. But I don't think they probably could have appreciated to what it would be in 4 years' time, where we have like, my name is Vive, making lore videos that pretty much outperform every other fucking type of content. And I think if you said that to like a D1 developer, that, you know what, someone's going to quote you in 4 years' time, and it's going to outperform news, it's going to outperform exotic reviews, it's going to outperform everything. It's going to get 200 to 500,000 views on what you fucking right now say in this car. I don't think people would believe you.
Right, and they're still doing it. Like you guys making your videos, Bife and you and
Beard Grizzly.
Yeah, Beard and
Wally's back in the game.
Right, Wally's back. You guys refer to those Grimoire cards all the time, and they're still relevant today. So like, I don't know. I like watching you guys' videos. So plus I mean, Log is beautiful, but
you're a winner. You can come back whenever you want.
Exile, thanks for jumping in, man. Thank you for your questions and all that sort of thing. Thank you, man. Enjoy.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Legendary. We did have a cracking question in the chat. We did have a cracking question in the chat that Chucky has made sure that we got. He's doing a great job there, Chook. Ace Shiro Shirayuki asks, who do we think the next Hunter Vanguard will be? I've heard
Shiro
so
4.
many theories on this. I think it'll be Shiro. I really do.
I think it's going to be Shiro as well. Shiro, like, I only know about Shiro because of Jazzy, because Jazzy is obsessed with, or was obsessed with Shiro, and that's okay. But from what I know is that Shiro was the closest thing to a best friend that Cayde had. So
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, exactly right. And let me tell you this, right? Okay, law-wise, Andrew Brask, okay, who was his mentee?
Mentee?
Okay, a mentor being someone
Apprentice.
Yeah,
oh, right.
mentee,
Yeah.
like-
like the thing that swims in the sea? Like a manatee?
No, not manatee. Not manatee, you dickhead. Mentee. As in mentor, mentee. Oh, fucking hell.
Right, okay,
Going down the food chain, right? Andrew Brask, mentee was Cayde-6. Okay, Andrew died, Cayde stepped up. Who is Cayde-6's mentee? Do you know? Shiro 4. Shiro 4, Cayde-6 is his mentor from a law point of view in the guards. So
It'd be very
ideally,
fitting.
this continues the tragedy of the Hunter Vanguard position of basically, which is cool because I've never really thought about the Hunters are always like ill-equipped to be as leaders because they want to be out in the field. They want to be chasing danger, and that's what they always do. And they want to go solo, and they want to be the lone wolves. And it's why they're so jarring to that position in the Vanguard. And it's why Cayde was always so jarring, but why he was so interesting. And, it would make sense that they keep fucking dying because they keep doing stupid shit.
It is. It's so worth it. Yeah, sorry, Sloth, you were saying.
No. Go on, mate.
I was just saying, if you haven't watched the opening cinematics, and I haven't played through the entire campaign again yet, but like just watching the way Cayde conducts himself, it is just shoot first, ask questions later. He has no thought for self-preservation, and he's basically kept alive
really
by the people around him. It is so apparent when you look at it from where we are now, knowing where we know things are headed, and you watch it, you're like, oh my god, like how has he even survived this long, right? But I don't know. Sorry, Sloth, I stood on you there, mate. What were you going to say?
The other thing that a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but the other people that people in at least my channel have been asking is that, or saying that it could be Aphrodite as well. I know that she is off with the peaceful guardians and all that sort of thing as per the lore cards from Rise of Iron. But
What a way to bring it back, though. That would bring it back.
What a way to bring it back. Like she is actually a guardian. She is powerful enough. Like I'm not saying that Shiro's not, but she is powerful enough to be the next Vanguard. It could be either or, but I mean, reference the picture of the Hunter carrying the Hunter.
Right? They're out that way. They're in the outer belt. They're in the outer belt, something like that. So I think location-wise, that's near the reef. I don't know.
But I mean, I would like to see. I would like to see like a lot of people are saying maybe Aphrodite, maybe Shiro, but as much as I don't want to say this, but I'm actually kind of excited to maybe have this. Reference the end of that cinematic where Cayde dies and the Hunter is carrying his body off.
Oh yeah.
Elsie Bray. The stranger.
Oh, dude. I've been thinking that for a week and I haven't said anything. I didn't want.
You know what? I don't want to go into it too deeply, but like the cape matches.
What can you see on that image? What can you see in that?
Gaul is the new Hunter Vanguard.
But just before we get Silly Winter in, I'm just going to get a question from C. Michael.
I want to add more about Shiro. Can I add one more thing about Shiro? All
right, one more Shiro fact, Matt. You're on a budget.
Shut up, Matt, about the law. Well, look, okay. The reason why Shiro would be really fitting from a lore point of view, right? Remember his cape, Shiro's cape?
Yep.
It's a patchwork of House of Kings.
Dude.
Fallen. It's a patchwork of fallen capes. And if you remember sort of the lore around the cape of a hunter, that's their trophy, that's their collection, right? And there's this sort of history of people collecting that, and Shiro 4 is like a bounty hunter. He would go out on very secure tasks from the Vanguard to assassinate Fallen, essentially. So he fits the build perfectly to be leading assassination hits on the Barons, basically.
All right. So we'll bring in Silly Winter. Again, guys, if you want to jump into the Discord, please do so. Silly Winter, how are you? Welcome to the stream. What's on your mind?
Yeah, thanks for having me, fam. My question, it's not really about lore, but it's more like game mechanics.
Of course.
Go for it.
So how excited are you guys about the better late than never, right? The lore tab, or whatever the hell it is. Like,
the collections.
The collections,
the fact that they've put in somewhat of a what seems to be a codex or codices for lore and weapons and God knows what else. I'm very, very happy with that. I know that when the game was first released, Matt and a lot of lore heads weren't happy is the fact that he had to go around, didn't have enough time in the day because he's a very busy man, but had to go around and individually scan and record each bit of lore.
Dude, fucking lore videos were so tough before Ishtar Collective. I used to have to manually fucking transcribe stuff, and I used to have like a Word document with like Grimoire cards in it, essentially.
But see, this is the thing, is that I like the fact that it's there. I kind of wish that Grimoire was in the game to begin with for D1. However, it was also good to have it offline, like have it out of the game so people could actually build a database around it, and it was all readily available there. So I know that a lot of websites and all that sort of thing actually built databases around the lore. I know Kex has done something very similar with doing something about the lore, same with Beard and all that sort of thing. So to have it in game is very, very good. I really, really enjoy that. I really, really enjoyed that.
I'm interested to see how it is categorized. I think that's going to be my next big thing, right? Because if you think about lore, if you think about the Grimoire cards, right, pretty much what lore channels do is we put them in an order. And when you put things in an order, they tell a story, right? And YouTubers and everyone, we're biased, right? If I want to make a video about how evil Aldrin is, I just find the specific cards that proves my point, and I'll put them in an order that will help you as an audience to go, oh yeah, he's totally evil. Like, he's really screwing us over here. I could probably find a bunch of cards that says the opposite. So what I'm really interested in is how are those cards going to look in that collection tab, because the order is important. And here's something else that I've been thinking about is part of the mystery is putting them together, because if you put them in different orders, they change the meaning of them. Like, for example, let's look at My Name is Bice video on the Exo Stranger. To get to her identity, you have to put the cards in the right order. And if you don't arrive at her identity very well. So, for example, is that how that would look in the collection? Would it be, in that format? So once you've got all the collection, you read it and you arrive to the point of going, oh yeah, okay, that's Elsie Bray. She's the Exo Stranger. Or will it be more ambiguous? For example, if you remember back to Destiny 1, the Grimoire cards were just sorted into things like Hive, Fallen, or enemies, right? Enemies, exotic weapons, and they're just very broad categories. So you would still have to put things together, essentially. You couldn't just read them in order. So I'm really curious to see what that looks like, because part of the lore fanatic in me doesn't want there to be an order, because I think part of the intrigue of Destiny lore is piecing it together. However, I feel like that's really inaccessible. And I think that what gets people excited is to actually find the story pieces and then to see them slowly build together, I think would be really amazing for the general.
If it was all over the shop, and as much as I love Dark Souls or Soulsborne game series and all that sort of thing, when it's all over the shop, it's really difficult to follow. So, if it's in some sort of a categorical order, whether it's in if it's in chronological order,
yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
If it's not, you know what, like if it's not in chronological order, or if it's not in any order whatsoever, then at least I can go and rely on people like Pluggo, Mylan Games, you know, for his YouTube channel and watch all that. So
I don't think you need to call it a plug when we're this far into the podcast.
It's a good question, man. I don't know. I think I would love to see people unlock stuff and see stuff in game and be like, oh, what does that mean? And then open up a collection and go, shit, I've only got like the middle. I've only got the beginning of that story. And then sort of once I've got their full collection, sit down and be able to sort of access that and read that and go, oh, wow, this is really cool. I understand so much more about this character now or this weapon. So that would be cool. It'll be interesting to see what happens with lore channels though, because like, oh, look, at the end of the day, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people that just don't read stuff. And
yeah, definitely.
It'd probably make lore channels really easy because all you got to do now is just basically know the order that they're going to come in your collection. Just read that.
Yeah.
You know what though? Like, if they do that, they do that. But I am personally, even though a lot of the lore has been covered, the codices that have been implemented across not only lore but weapons, armor, and all that sort of thing. I'm excited to just go out and find that. I kind of missed that, and I did it in my first run through of D2 on Xbox. I went and did all the lost sectors. I went and found all of the things I could find and all that sort of shit. But it just wasn't as gratifying. Or it's not gratifying. It wasn't as satisfying to do as it was in Destiny 1, I guess you could say.
I can't wait for the completion factor. I can't wait to just be able to have a checkbook. Like, I don't know, that's just
it's just
personality so much. I just love the fact to be able to log on and be like, okay, I'm going to aim for this today. What were you going to say, Winter?
That's exactly me. As long as there's like a checklist system, like a percentage, and I know I have to get that to 100%, I'm going to play 24/7. I just love that crap, right?
Just mainline caffeine, man. Mainline and the caffeine. Get yourself some Destiny branded, what were they? Fucking Pop-Tarts or whatever the fuck. Just live on that, man.
Rockstar.
Rockstar energy drink. Pop-Tarts. And you'll give yourself the diabetes.
Yeah.
Diabetes.
The diabetes. Thank you for jumping in, Silly Winter. It's a pleasure to meet you, mate. And good question too, man.
Yeah, thank you too.
Good question.
Yeah. Pleasure to meet you all too. Finally get to talk to you all.
Yeah, no worries. We're going to be doing this sort of stuff more often. So if you are listening to the recorded version of this episode and you feel like you missed out, just, you know, keep an eye on the tweets, because this is, I think, gone really well. And we didn't have the expected like flood of people coming in like demanding information out of Matt. I was kind of worried we were going to get. So I mean, if everyone's behaved themselves, we'll continue to do this sort of shit in the future and have a bit of fun with it.
I think we need to like thank people for respecting that. Like, I really do thank you guys for like respecting me and allowing me to balance my work on the podcast and my work on the channel, and sort of showing that kind of faith, because I think this does sort of lead the way to a really nice working relationship between, you know, content creators and Bungie. So thank you very much for sort of respecting that.
No worries. I'll answer on part of everyone.
The question that I have, gents, is that are we still saved after hearing and seeing what we've done this week? Are we still saved by our Lord and Savior, or
Forsaken?
You know what? That Photoshop that Faisal Meki did of Chris Barrett, if the under the hood of Uldren was probably, I don't know whether it's on point or not. I'd dearly love to know who it was who come up with the idea to pull the trigger on Cayde. That is the one bit of information out of everything. As much as we joke and say it's all Matt's fault.
Can you imagine the fucking conversations around that? Like, there would have been like big conversations. I'm sure they sort of hinted at it during the IGN when I think it was Steve Cotton was like, "Oh, we talked about it. We talked about it for a long time." Like that would have been a massive decision, and it would have been a really cool decision. Like, yeah, wrinkle.
I think it's good because it's put us on untread ground. You know, like it's one of those things that I think people may have seen it coming, but at the same time, it is so emotive and it's so hard to deny, and it's brought a lot of people back. As Juk was saying, it's that emotional reinvestment for Destiny is totally there.
So
100%.
I'm a little bit scared because I've asked Gamma Trap to do some artwork around Prince Uldren and Cayde-6, which we know is going to be amazing for one of my next videos. But I almost want to tweet it with like Team Uldren, like hashtag Team Uldren. But I feel like it will not be taken as a joke, and I'll get proper hatred.
What's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, let's not. Matt, don't do it. Don't trust me. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's really trust me. After that fucking plus sign thing, it is really not worth putting anything out there that is easily misconstrued. Let me say that.
Yeah.
But exactly. I think we've just about covered it. I know Log wants to go shower for the next 30 years to get all that makeup off.
I've got one more thing that I'm going to do before we piss off. It's a special treat. It's been a big emotional week. It's been a sad week, but it's also been a week where we decide that we're going to fight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sing us out this week in the spirit of dudes. It's not my song. I think people might know this song, especially if you know that dudes with blonde curly hair that wear makeup, songs that they might sing, you might know this track. But
so before you get into that, let me just do the outro and then you can do your thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, please consider hitting that subscribe button, the bell, and the upvote. And if you have any questions for us, please let us know. Log is probably the most active one on there, but let's do that. If you do have any questions for the three of us and you're not watching on YouTube, if you're watching live or listening to it through our audio sources, at us on Twitter at Mylan Games, at LogPowerSlave, at RealTimeSloth, or at DDU_podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys on. Thank you for all the lovely questions. Thank you for all the thought-provoking questions, and here's to some more information from Forsaken come September. Thank you, guys, and over to you, Boy George.
It's not Boy George. It's hey, look, I even put the guitar camera in. Look at that. That's a bit self-indulgent, but I don't give a shit. If I'm gonna have to stand here and wear makeup, you can all fucking put up with it. But I thought, you know what, we're gonna go out with a bit of Twisted Sister, with a bit of We're Not Gonna Take It, right? What do you reckon? This is a song that we can put out there. It's, you know, there's been a lot of unpleasant things said about Destiny through the week. There's been a lot of people talking shit. We're not gonna take that. We're not gonna take Uldren killing our favourite character either. So we might just jump straight into it. Hey, let's just do it. Hang on. I forgot to do something. We've got the right to choose it. There ain't no way we'll lose it. This is our life. This is our song. We'll fight the powers that be, just don't fuck with destiny, 'cause You don't know us, you don't belong. We're not gonna take it. No, we're gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. We're not gonna take it. No, we're gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Oh, you're so condescending. Your flaws are never ending. When you fuck up song, we don't want nothing to do with you. Your life is tried and jaded, boring and confiscated. If that's your best won't do. Come on, song you sing. We're not gonna take it. No, we're gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. We're not gonna take it. No, we're gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Good.
Wow.
All right, that was
Dude.
awful. I'm never doing that again.
Dude, that was so good. That was so good.
Oh, that was
Well
good.
done.
All right.
Ladies
See you
and
next
What a
week.
good sport.
Thank you very much for watching.
Bye.
Catch us, mate.
Bye.